All right, so come up to a little bit further forward in your chair, just enough so that your feet can rest easily on the ground. And then bring your hands to rest wherever they're comfortable. Take a moment to bring your attention to your breath and maybe invite in a deeper breath. And as you exhale, just allow your shoulders to soften, allow your gaze to soften, or close your eyes. And we'll begin the class by just checking in. Just notice how you feel when you pay attention. And then notice how your breath feels when you pay attention to it. And see if you can notice where you feel your breath the most noticeably in your body. So, could be anywhere, could be nostrils, could be chest, could be belly. Just being curious. And now just tune in a little bit more to feel your breath at your nostrils. See if you can sense the breath moving in and out of your nose. Feeling of cool breath drawing in and warmer breath moving out. And then bringing your attention to your chest. If you want, you can bring your hands onto your ribs and see if you can sense into movement along with your breath. You might notice a gentle expansion through your rib cage with your inhales. And feel them settling back down with your exhales. And I'll do the same thing at our belly, just resting your hands, tuning in. See if you sense that same feeling of expansion with your inhales and settling back with your exhales. And try at first to not change anything, just notice what you notice here. And then for the next few rounds of breath, draw your inhales right down to your belly on purpose. Just picturing filling your whole torso with breath as you inhale. And then let that go. Rest your hands. Just allow your breath to move at its natural pace. And with your next inhale, bring your arms up, bring your palms together. And as you exhale, draw your hands back down. Let's do that a few more times. Inhales to lift up. With your exhales, come on back down. And the next time you bring your arms up, we'll keep them up. And now just turn to the right a little bit. Reach your right arm back and left arm forward. And then come on back up. And we'll go the other way. And just keep going a few more times. You can move with your breath here if you'd like. Exhaling to come into our little twists and following your inhales back to center. The next time you come back to center, we'll let this go. Just bring your arms back down, give them a bit of a shake out. Nice. Come on back to just resting your hands on your legs. Notice your spine now. See if you can sit with a sense of alertness on your spine without hiking your shoulders up. Just let them stay nice and relaxed. And we're just going to move our head now. So drop your right ear down towards your right shoulder. You don't need to push it down, just let it feel heavy, allowing your shoulders to stay soft. And with your inhale, come back up. And as you exhale, go the other way. And just stay here for a breath or so. And as you inhale, come on back up. And let's just go with the breath a few more times. Exhales to go to the sides, and inhales to come back to the center. And when you're ready to let this one go, come back to center and stay here. And now drop your chin closer to your chest. Just let your head be heavy here. Let the back of your neck have a bit of a stretch. And now with an inhale, turn your head over to the right a little bit, just as if you're trying to point your nose towards your shoulder a little bit. And then with your exhale, drop back down to center, chin a little closer to chest. And as you inhale, go the other way. And we'll stay here for a breath or so. And now let's go side to side. So here you can go with your breath again if you like. Exhales to center and inhales to the sides. Or you can go at your own pace. And when you're ready to let this one go, with an inhale, come back up to center. Just set your head right up on the top of your spine, feeling centered and balanced. All right, and now interlace your fingers in front and bring them around to hold the back of your head. Nice. And just look straight ahead. And what we're going to do is just press our head back into our hands and soften. And try this one a few times. Maybe just notice what muscles engage to push your head back. And the next time you soften, we'll let this one go as well. Release your arms, get in a little shake. Rest your hands. Let's just roll our shoulders a few times. Maybe a couple times in each direction here if you'd like. Feel as if you're kind of getting the cobwebs out of your shoulders this morning. Nice. Let them settle back down and just take an easy breath. You might like to check in again, just notice how you feel after just a little bit of breathing and moving. And now with your inhale, bring your arms back up. Now let's bring our right hand down to hold on to the side of the chair. Feel your feet on the ground, feel your seat on the chair. Keep that connection to the ground as you lengthen up through your spine. Now let's go into a side bend, keeping your seat and your feet connected to the ground in the chair. And then with an inhale, come back up. Bring the right arm up. Float the left back down. Nice. Feeling your connection to the ground, lengthening through your spine to lift up out of that sense of groundedness, and then go the other way. Nice. A breath or two here. Breathe into the right side of your ribs and your waist. And as you come back up, bring the other arm up. Maybe interlace your fingers at the top. Flip your palms around and reach up. And then exhale your arms down, shake them out. Nice. All right. Check behind you. See if there's some space for your hands between you and the back of your chair. You can scooch a little forward if you need to. Nice. And then just noticing your shoulders again. Let's pick them up, reaching your shoulders up towards your ears a little more. Keep them up as you press them back. And now draw them down as if you're trying to pull your shoulder blades down towards your seat. And keep your shoulders up and back and bring your hands back behind you. Interlace your fingers again, or you can rest your hands on your low back. It's up to you. And now just try to allow your shoulders to stay up and back. And if you want, you can try and pull your elbows a little closer to each other. See if that gives you a little more stretch in the front of your shoulders and your upper chest. And we can add a little bit of neck movement here again. You can go side to side like we did earlier. You can drop your chin to your chest and go side to side, just pointing your nose towards your shoulder. And when you're ready, unravel, let everything go. A little bit of movement if you'd like. Nice. Resting your hands, take a breath. And now let's move our spine, going through cat and cow pose a few times. And we'll go with the breath again. As you inhale, arch your back, roll your shoulders back, look up a little bit. And as you exhale, round through your spine, curl your shoulders in, bring your chin closer to your chest. And then just keep going back and forth. You can go with your breath here if you like. Inhales to open up, arching. Exhales to round, curling in. And then come on back to your neutral. Just picturing your spine, all the vertebrae stacked on top of each other as they would be in a more neutral shape for your back. Nice. And then interlace your fingers in front of you again. And we'll bring them behind our head once again. Nice. So look straight ahead. Let your hands support the back of your head, but try and let your arms kind of relax here as best as you can. And then step your feet a little bit wider so you have a nice solid connection to the ground. And now we're going to start with just an eye movement. So from looking straight ahead, we're just going to turn our eyes over to the left, and your hands can feel your head. So only turn your eyes as far as you can without your head also turning. And now we're going to keep our eyes like this and just go into the tiniest little side bend. Your eyes are looking a little bit more down towards the ground, and keep the left side of your seat and your left foot connected to the ground. And we're just going to take a few more breaths just like this. And when you're ready, push down into your left foot to come back up. Nice. Release your arms. Give them a little bit of movement between sides. Maybe rest your hands for a breath. And let's do that again. Interlace your fingers. Notice which pinky finger's on the bottom. And then try to switch the interlace of your hands so the other one's on the bottom. Nice. Bring your hands back behind your head again. We'll find that same position. So gazing straight ahead, feet and seat connected to the ground. Hands supporting your head, but arms relaxed as they can be here. And start with your eyes, turning your eyes over to the left, allowing your head to stay just as it is. And then keeping your connection to the ground, find your tiny side bend. Your eyes are still looking over to the left, just as much as they can without your head coming along with that movement. And just breathe here. Use your feet for support in the side bend. Nice push down into your right foot. Bring yourself right back up, stacking your ribs over top of your pelvis, releasing your arms, shaking them out. And then coming back to stillness for a pause. All right, and let's grab our blocks now. If you have them, if you don't have them, that's fine. They're nice to have, not necessary. And if you've got them, you can bring them to either side of your feet. And then we'll set up for a forward fold. So if you like, you can bring your feet a little bit wider than hip width distance apart. I like to come up a little closer to the front of my chair for forward fold. See what works for you. And then bring your hands to your hip creases. Just bring your awareness here. And we'll start with our spine. Add a bit of length to your spine without picking your shoulders up when you do that. And then hinge at your hips and try to allow your spine to stay nice and neutral as you start into your forward fold. And as always, you can stay here at kind of the halfway point with a neutral spine. Or if your spine is feeling happy today, you can curl forward a little bit more and bring your hands down to your blocks or the ground. And we'll just take a breath here. And with your inhale, come on halfway up. Once again, finding that neutral position in your spine. And as you exhale, you can fold forward a bit more. And then with your inhale, come all the way back up. Finding your nice, neutral, strong position here. Ribs over pelvis, head just balanced over top of your shoulders and your chest. Nice. So let's move our shoulders in those circles again, but this time we're going to move them in opposite directions. So start by picking up both shoulders, lifting them up towards your ears just a little bit, and then roll the right shoulder forward and the left shoulder back and circle them down and around and back up. And try that a few times. If it doesn't work, don't worry, just kind of play with this movement. And then let that go. Maybe have a bit of movement between sides. And we're going to do that with the shoulders going the opposite direction. So pick them up again, and this time left will go forward, right will go back. Keep going around a few times. See if you can still breathe nice and easy, even as you try to find the coordination to move in opposite directions. And then let it go. Both shoulders just softening. Awesome. So let's do another forward fold, and this time we'll do some of our tapping and tracing. So begin with your breath, just noticing once again, finding the rhythm of your breath. And with your inhale, bring your arms back all the way up. But this time, set your right hand on top of your left. And then slide them to the side so that your fingertips can touch the outsides of your arms. And we'll trace the outsides of our arms and then the sides of your torso as best as you can here. And then cross your arms over when you get to your waist. And now we're going to head into our forward fold again. And trace the outsides of your legs as you find your way into your forward fold. And once you're here, just let your head be heavy. If you like, you can move your head a little bit side to side, and front to back. And then bring it back to stillness. With your next inhale, come on halfway up again. And as you exhale, fold back down. And now bring your fingertips to the insides of your ankles. And with your next inhale, we're going to start to come back up and trace the insides of your legs as you come back up. And then trace up the front of your torso. And we're going to come to our first tapping spot, which is underneath the collarbones, close to the center, but not so close to the center that you're on the sternum bone, just off to the sides. You should be able to feel a couple little indents here. And we'll just tap. Stay here just tapping for 2 or 3 breaths. And then we'll go to the next tapping spot, right in the center of the chest. And then let this one go as well. Just rest your hands. Take a moment to pause and breathe. And with your next inhale, arms up again. And this time, bring your left hand over top of your right. And we'll do the same thing here, tracing down the arms, sides of the ribs, crossing over at the waist, and then starting into your forward fold and tracing the outsides of your legs again. Take a pause here at the bottom of your forward fold. Following your inhale halfway up. And following your exhale back into your fold. And then bring your fingers to the insides of your ankles again. And with an inhale, start to come back up. We'll trace the insides of our legs again. But when you get to your torso, we'll trace up the sides of the torso. And our next tapping spot is right here on the sides of the ribs. So you can tap like this. You can cross your arms over like this, whatever suits you. And then we'll let this one go. And the last tapping spot is right up on the cheekbones. So we'll tap here gently, 2 or 3 more breaths. And then we'll let this go as well. Just bring your hands back to rest. And now we'll do a couple more of those points, but instead of tapping, we're just going to hold the points. So one is right between your eyebrows, and the other is right in your belly button. So with a couple fingers, hold those spots and then press in and also pull up a little bit. And we'll take about 3 breaths here. And let this one go when you're ready. Nice. Okay, and this time bring your hands to rest on your lap with one hand in front of the other, like this. And we'll do some reverse sun breaths. So with your inhale, trace your hands up the center line of your body. When you get to the top, let your arms come apart and then bring them back down. And we can do that a couple times, going with the breath. Inhaling to trace up, exhaling to come to the sides and down. And then keep going with your breath a few more times. We'll let this one go now as well. Take a moment if you'd like to move a little bit, you can do that. And come on back to stillness, connecting to the ground through your feet and your seat, and feeling your spine lifting up away from the ground. And just check in with yourself again. Notice, how do you feel? And if anything feels different than when we started, just make note of that. Okay, how are you both feeling? Okay, awesome. Let's grab one of our blocks and we'll just bring it to rest between our knees. So setting up your feet so that they're comfortable distance apart to be able to just hold the block in place. And from there, bring your hands to your ribs. Holding the block in place, add a little bit of length to your spine, kind of lifting up towards the ceiling, still keeping some softness in your neck and shoulders even as you do that. And we'll just do some tiny twists here. So twisting your ribs over to the right a little bit, and then back through center and over in the other direction. And then just keep going side to side. So your knees are still holding the block in place. Try to allow your spine to stay nice and long throughout the whole movement. I like as I come back to center to kind of reestablish that length a little bit. And stay with this movement a little bit longer, and maybe just as you continue to move, notice your breath. Notice if your movement and breath are syncing up or if they're not quite talking to each other. And then come on back to center. Nice. Let's set the block down. Let's just move our legs a little bit here. Let's march our knees and reach the opposite arm across as each knee lifts. See if you can keep some length in your spine even as you march. And then let it go. Feet can rest, hands can rest. Okay, and now we're just going to pick one leg up. And you can do this by just holding onto the back of your thigh, or you can bring a block under your foot so that you can keep your foot partly supported by the block. And now we'll lift and lower. So it can be just lifting and lowering with your hands, or if you've got your foot on the block, it can be just lifting your heel up and down as you go. Now we'll do some circles. So if you're using the block, you can kind of stay on your tippy toes and just circle your knee around. If you're not using the block, just using your hands for support. You can circle the other way a few times. And then come back to stillness. If you don't have a block under your foot, you can grab that and place it there now, if you like, if you have a block. And now we'll head into another twist. So the same hand as the lifted knee, bring it down to hold the side of your chair. And once you've got this shape, again, lengthen through your spine, still feeling your connection to the ground, still allowing your shoulders to stay soft even as you lengthen. And then we'll move with our breath. With your next inhale, bring your other arm up. And as you exhale from your ribs, turn into the twist. Bring your arm down when you're ready. Just let it rest lightly on your knee. So you're not pressing your knee and your hand or your arm into each other. Let the twist happen at your ribs, at your waist. We'll take another breath here. And then come on back to center. Nice. Set the block off to the side. And when you've got your feet back down to the ground, see if your body would like some movement. Do whatever you'd like, stretch, move. Or you can just rest too if you prefer. And then let's do all that on the other side. So with or without the block, we'll do those lifts. So when you're ready, lift and lower a couple times. And then you can head into your circles. Go the other way a few times here. And then we'll make our way into our twist on this side. So if you weren't using the block for the lifts and the circles, you can grab one if you have it. So both feet are connected to the block, to the ground. Same hand as lifted leg. Then come down to hold the side of your chair. Nice. And now tune into your spine. Can you add a little bit of a sense of alertness to your spine? Feel as if you're stacking head on ribs, ribs on pelvis. And now with an inhale, float the other arm up. As you exhale, turn your rib cage into the twist. Float your arm down to rest lightly on the lifted knee. And just take a few breaths right here. When you're ready, come on back to center. Nice, bring your foot back down. Give everything a bit of movement if you'd like. All right, and now let's give our legs a little bit more attention, and we'll do that with a strap. So you can use a yoga strap if you have it. If you're at home, you can use something like a long belt or a long scarf. And then if you have a block, you can bring it out in front of you in the position that works for you to straighten your leg and just rest your heel on the block. And now if you've got that strap, you can bring it around the bottom of your foot like this. All right. And once you've got this shape, bring your attention down to your foot. Flex your foot, trying to point your toes up towards the ceiling. Nice. Press your foot into the strap a little bit at the same time. And you can keep your heel on the block or you can lift your leg up, whatever suits you. And we'll stay here for a few breaths. And when you're ready, we'll let this go. Just soften your leg for a moment. And then bring both sides of the strap into the same hand as outstretched leg. The other hand could just kind of come to rest on your hips. And now we'll do some rotations. So we're going to think about moving from the upper leg bone to rotate the whole leg out and in and back and forth a few times. And with the other hand, you can tune into what's happening in the rest of your body. If you notice your hips shifting at all, then see if you can do these rotations without that movement needed in the rest of your body. You can notice sometimes our whole torso wants to shift side to side. See if you can isolate this movement to just your leg. And same thing here, you can keep your heel down, you can lift it up. It's up to you. And then pause in external rotation with your toes turned out. And you can either stay right here as you are, or you can lift your heel up and bring your leg out to the side. So choose your own adventure here. We'll take a couple of breaths. And then bring it back in, set it back down. And we'll bring this foot back down to the ground. Nice. Give yourself a little bit of movement and do some heel taps and toe taps. You can move any other way that you'd like. Awesome. Let's do that on the other side. So you can rearrange however you need to. Find the same shape here. And we'll start with our hamstring stretch. Flex your foot, toes reaching up, heel pressing out, as if you're trying to pull your toes back, but push your foot into the strap at the same time. And then you can stay with heel down, or you can lift your foot up and breathe. Notice your spine here too. Notice if you're rounding or if you're pulling back, and see, can you find a more neutral position in your spine? Press down through the other foot for support. And then let this go. Soften your leg. Take a breath. Bring the strap into the same hand as leg. Other hand can rest on your hip. And we'll do our rotations here. Think about the upper leg bone being the guider of this movement. Heel can be down, heel can be up. It's up to you. And then pause in external rotation. And you can just stay here in external rotation as you are, or you can bring your leg out to the side. Take a few breaths here. And come on back in when you're ready. Let this one go. You can move the strap away to the side. Bring your feet back down to resting on the ground. Have a bit of movement if you'd like. Nice. Let's march out our legs again. Same thing as before with the arms moving, opposite arm is leg. And you're always welcome to either lift your feet off the ground or just lift your heels off the ground on either side. Allowing your spine to be as neutral as it can be, still having a bit of length. And now you can keep going here, or you can pause with opposite arm and leg lifted for a breath. And then continue your march if you've paused. And then the other side. And breathe wherever you are. And then a little bit more of that march before we let it go. Nice. Come on back to sitting in stillness. Check out how you feel now, closer to the end of the class. All right. And we are ready to start getting set up for Shavasana. We're going to do a little bit of movement before we go into Shavasana. So you can choose, as always, to stay seated in your chair, make yourself a little more comfortable here, or come down to the ground. And if you're coming down to the ground, you can bring along anything that can help you feel more comfortable on the ground. But we're going to move our arms a little bit, so make sure you got space up at the top of your mat for that. So while you get set up, I'll go turn the lights down a bit. Once you found a comfortable position, we will move our arms a little bit, similar to the sun breaths that we did when we started the class, just lifting and lowering our arms. But if you're on the ground, we'll do it a little bit more like snow angel arms. So first, just bring your arms out into a T shape by your sides with your palms facing up. And now with your inhale, just trace your arms up overhead. They don't have to stay in contact with the floor the whole way. At any point that it feels like it'd be more comfortable to lift them up away from the ground, please do that. And as you exhale, just bring them all the way out to the sides and down along the sides of your body. And then just keep going with your breath a few times. And the next time you bring your arms down, we'll stay here. And take a moment or two to get yourself in the position you'd like to stay in for our resting pose. So you might want to add some blankets underneath your knees or a pillow underneath your head. You might want to cover yourself with a blanket, whatever you need to do to feel comfortable here. And when you have found a comfortable position, bring your attention back to your breath and take a few deeper breaths. And with each exhale, just picture letting go of any kind of effort, letting go of the need to think about anything at all right now. No need to make any plans or worry about anything. And as you exhale, also just let go of any kind of holding or bracing you might feel in your body. Just picturing that for right now, you can just exhale everything, let it float away. And then also notice the support underneath you. Maybe it's your chair, maybe it's the ground. And as you continue to breathe, just allow the support beneath you to hold your body so that you can soften a bit more and just allow yourself to be supported. And we'll stay here resting for a few more minutes.